Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. I am Yashpreet and today we are gonna see what asynchronous JavaScript is. So let's get into the video. First, let's see what synchronous JavaScript is. As the word synchronous itself means one by one. That's what synchronous JavaScript means, that is executing code line by line. Now let's see the example of synchronous JavaScript. Then you will get the idea of how synchronous JavaScript looks and works. And then I'll show you the graphical representation of call stack. Now first we'll print start and end just to denote the starting and ending of the program. Above start we will define a function. Let's say function ABC. Inside this function we will write a print statement. Let's say we are in the function. Now call this function between start and end. So this is a super easy program and you know what the output is gonna be. So save it and let's execute this program. By the way, I am using Node.js to execute this JavaScript program. So the output is start, we are in the function, and end. In this program, JavaScript executed code line by line. So it is synchronous. So first it printed start, then inside the function and printed we are in the function, and at the end it printed end. Now I'll show you the graphical representation for the same. So what is call stack? Call stack is a mechanism to keep the track of the function. So whenever a function is called or invoked, it is pushed into call stack, and after execution it is popped off. First, main is pushed into stack. So whenever we execute script, JavaScript creates global execution context, which is denoted by main or global. Now as in our program, console log start is the first function call. So it is pushed into the stack. After the execution, it is popped off. So after console log start, ABC is the function call. So it is pushed into the stack. After the execution of ABC function, it will be popped off. So after the ABC function, console log end is the function call. So it is pushed, executed, and popped off. So after the console log end, there are no lines to execute. So main will be also popped off. This was the graphical representation of the call stack. Now let's see what asynchronous JavaScript is. As the asynchronous word itself means not in sync, that is not executing the code line by line. Many web API features now uses asynchronous code, especially which access data from resource, such as fetching a file from a server. Let's see a simple example of asynchronous JavaScript, and then I'll show the graphical representation of the call stack. So we will just edit the previous program. So copy, paste. So we don't need the function ABC. Just remove it. So to demonstrate asynchronous JavaScript program, I'll use setTimeout function. SetTimeout function needs a callback function inside which we will print a statement. Let's say we are in the setTimeout and give time of, let's say, 3 seconds. So this is the program. So what do you think? What the output will be? So do you think first it will print start, then wait for 3 seconds, then it will print we are in the set timeout, then it will print end. Let's see. Just save and run the program. Node sync.js. So as you see, it print it printed start end, then waited for 3 seconds, and then we are in the set timeout. So I'll explain this in the graphical representation. So now you know what call stack and main is. Before starting, you should know that JavaScript is single threaded, so it cannot do multitasking. So in a program, console log start is the first line. It's the first function call. So it is pushed, executed, and popped off. After console log start, set timeout function is called. So as you know, set timeout contains callback function, which will be called after 3 second delay. So inside callback function, we have written asynchronous code. So whatever you write inside callback is asynchronous. Uh, I'll explain callbacks later. All callbacks are not asynchronous. So, as you know, JavaScript is bad at multitasking. So, set timeout function is pushed to web APIs. So, web APIs will keep track of set timeout function. So, set timeout is popped off from stack and pushed into web APIs. After set timeout, console log end is pushed, executed, and popped off. After console log end, there are no lines to execute. So main also will be popped off. But so web API is keeping track of set timeout function. So after 3 seconds, set timeout will be popped from web APIs and will pushed into set timeout function. So whatever code we have written into callback function, it will be executed. So that's why we were getting start and then we are in the set timeout. This was the graphical representation for the previous code. Now, let's see what is the problem with writing code synchronously. We will write a dummy code to fetch data from the server. So we'll define a function named email. We will pass parameters, uname and password. So as you know, server will take time to respond, but you don't know in how much time it will respond. So to demonstrate that, we are using set timeout function. Let's assume that server will respond in 4 seconds and it is returning an object. We will just pass uname as email because it is just a dummy program we have to demonstrate. So function email is acting like it is fetching data from the server. So we have to store the received data. So declare constant user equals to invoke the function, pass parameters, and then we have to display the user, means we are displaying the fetched data. So as per the logic, it should contain the user should contain this object. Will it contain or not? Let's see. So as you see, it is showing start, undefined, and end, and then waiting for 4 seconds. Let's just add. here a statement for better understanding. Console log data received. So whenever this print statement will be printed, we we will come to know that the data is received. So let's run it again. So it is showing user as undefined. Why it is showing user undefined? So basically what's happening is inside when it go inside the email function, it encounters set timeout. So set timeout is sent to the web APIs. So it keep track of set timeout. Then set timeout is popped from the call stack and that is sent to the web APIs. So after set timeout, use this line is pushed into the call stack. So but we haven't fetched the data, so user is undefined. That's why it is showing undefined. And after the 4 second, it is we are receiving the data, so that's why it is showing user as undefined. This is the graphical representation for the previous program. Now you know how to read the call stack. If you want to read it, you can pause the video. We can solve the previous problem by using asynchronous JavaScript. So we can solve that problem in three ways. First, by using callback. Second, by using promise. And lastly, by using async and await. First, we will see using callback. As you know, we can pass object as parameter. But do you know that we can also pass function as a parameter? That's what a callback is. A callback is a function passed as an argument to another function. So first we will just define a function named callback. We will pass parameter user, and inside this we will just display the user. We will pass this function as a parameter to the email function. So call it here email, and we need to mention up here. So when we will receive data, we should call this function and pass the received data as a parameter. So it will print that received data. So instead of return, we should call the function. Pass this object as a parameter. So after 4 seconds, when we receive the data, the set timeout function will be called. So this statement will get printed and this function will get invoked, and this function will print our data. First save this and remove this console log user. We don't need this. Now execute it. So program callback email. Oh, we have passed the email. That's why. Come callback. Let's run it again. As you see, we have received the object. I'll tell you another way of doing it. So just cut this function. You can define your function inside this. So I'll pass user as argument with the help of arrow function. So console log user. So we have defined an arrow function here with the argument user and just called it here. You can name anything here because we haven't specified the name of the function. So you can also name it as display. Just remember to change here also, display. So let's run it. So this was the solution for the previous program using callback. So now we will solve that problem using promise. Before that, let's understand what promise is. Promise is an object that represents completion or failure of an asynchronous operation and its resulting value. Promise has three states: pending, fulfilled, and rejected. Pending is the initial state, which means neither fulfilled nor rejected. Fulfilled means operation was completed successfully, and rejected means operation was failed. Keep in mind that a pending promise can either be fulfilled with a value or rejected with an error. Now let's see the basic syntax of promise. So we have to create a promise object. So first let's declare a variable. I am naming it promise. You can name it anything. New promise. Make sure that P is capital. So inside this we will be calling an arrow function with two arguments, resolve and reject. Resolve and reject. And inside this function we will use set timeout to demonstrate the delay. So what resolve and reject does is uh, when the promise is fulfilled it calls resolve, and when the promise is rejected it calls reject. So we are assuming that our promise is resolved, so we will call resolve. And remember that when the promise is resolved it has value, and when the promise is rejected it has an error. So we are passing yes as a value, string as a value. Inside dot then we will write a function that should be invoked when promise is resolved. It will contain parameter, so resolve will pass that string as argument in this function, and we will access that value and we will just print it. So whenever the promise is resolved with a value, it executes then block. So just save it and we will run node promise.js. So as you see, it is showing yes after 3 seconds. So I'll show you the when reject is encountered. So reject is encountered when an error is found, uh, like when the server failed to respond, the reject is encountered. So we will just create a fake error, and inside we'll give message as server failed to respond. So for reject we have to write dot catch block. So when a reject is encountered it will execute the catch block. So again we have to write an arrow function with parameter, because this error will be passed as a parameter to this function. console log error dot message. Now let's run this. So it is showing server failed to respond because reject is error is encountered. So it is executing reject, and reject is executing this catch block. Now let's solve the previous problem. So we are gonna solve this problem using promises. So here we will not create an object, that is promise object, inside the email function. We will directly return a promise. So basically in real, when you make request to API, it already returns promise. So in real, we don't need to create or return promise object. But to demonstrate it, we will return a promise object. So we will, inside this function, we will return new promise, and inside this we will declare an arrow function with parameters resolve and reject. And inside this function we will copy this code. So we are assuming that our promise is fulfilled, that is resolved. So it will contain this value, that is object. Now you don't need this. To access the value, we should write email. So we are returning promise inside the function. So we need to call function, then pass the parameters. So yes, and password, and then we should write dot then block. Inside dot then we will write an arrow function with one parameters. This object will be passed as a parameter here. We'll just print the value. So we will get the data, this object here, and we will be printing it. So let's run it. First let's save it. Promise.js. So after start and end, it is waiting for 4 seconds, and then it is printing the object. So what's happening is, when the promise is resolved, it contains a value. So the value is this object, and when the result is encountered, this dot then block is the function inside the dot then block is executed. So this object is passed as parameter, and we are simply printing this parameter. So what if there are we want to fetch another data from the server? Let's say function rating. We will pass parameters email, and we'll just simply copy this code. Change the response time, let's say 2 seconds, and we were giving back rating, let's say rating 5. We don't need this console log. So now you can you can access this by calling this function, the rating, passing email, yes, at the rate, anything. Let's keep it simple. Let's keep it yes. So dot then inside this arrow function with parameter, and we will be printing the value. Now let's run it. What's happening here is we are calling two promises, but the rating promise is resolved first because its time is 2 seconds, and then it is showing rating first, and then the email because it has 4 second delay. But what if you want to show email first and then rating? So there is another way for this. So you can call this function inside this function. So it is called promise chaining. So instead of passing yes, we already have email. So we will email in value. So we will just write value dot u email, because here we have not written email, we have written u email. So value dot u email, and then just we will run this program. So it is showing email first and then rating. So basically what's happening is this will start, and first it will console log value. So it will, after end it will wait for 4 seconds, then print this value, that is email, and then it will start the promise call, and then it will wait for 2 seconds, and then it will print the rating. So this was the solution using promise. Now we will solve the problem using async and await. Let's first understand what async await is. So it is a special syntax to work with promise in a more comfortable way, and it is easy to understand. So in a previous section I showed that we can chain promises, but when we chain multiple promises it becomes complex, like this. So it gets difficult to read. So like we are inside this, we are calling this function, inside that function we are calling this. So we can simplify this complex chaining in async and using async and await. So async is a keyword that is used before a function to declare async function. So let's define async function. Async keyword function. We will name it display. So now we will declare variable user, and we will use await keyword and call the function email. Let's just copy this. So what await does is it makes promise returning function behave like they are synchronous by suspending the execution. So await, when the program controls come here, the await will stop the execution, will suspend the execution. So it will start again when the promise is resolved, when this email function return a promise. So let's, inside the email function, let's return a promise. So we will just copy this code. So now the email function is returning a promise. So when a promise is resolved, the program will start executing again from here. So we will just display the user. and we have to call this display function. We don't need this. So now let's run this program. So as you see, we got our data, that is object UML. So now let's see how we can simplify the chain promise chaining. So first let's copy this function. Declare a variable rate equal to use await keyword. It will suspend the execution until the promise is returned. So call function rating, and we have our email in the inside the user. So we'll just use that user dot uemail, and we will simply print rate. So console log rate. So now we will run this program. So we got both the objects uemail and rating. So it when we you access multiple promise, so it will not look complex. So when we access multiple promise, it will look like this. So this is better than this promise, like function one promise inside another promise. So in this tutorial, we saw that what synchronous JavaScript is, what asynchronous JavaScript is, what are the problems with synchronous JavaScript, and how to solve that problem using callback, promise, and async await. So if you like the video, subscribe to my YouTube channel for more content like this, and follow me on the Instagram. Link is in the description.